Be me. 43, Dean of Student Affairs at mid-sized liberal arts college in Pennsylvania. Salary $175,000. Been in higher education for 19 years. PhD in education policy. Dissertation on gender equity in collegiate athletics. This is my dream job. Finally have authority to implement real change. College is called Westfield College. 3,200 students. Founded 1887. Small private school. Good reputation. Heavily dependent on alumni donations. Endowment is $220 million. Sounds big, but it's modest for a private college. Annual budget is $95 million. Tuition covers maybe 60%. Rest is donations and endowment. I was hired 2 years ago to modernize student life and enhance equity. Board wanted someone progressive, someone who'd shake things up. President is Dr. Patricia Morrison, 61. Been here 15 years, close to retirement. She's old guard academic, cares about tradition and donor relations. We clash frequently. She's too cautious, too concerned with optics. I'm here to make actual change, not worry about hurting feelings. College has 18 varsity sports programs, NCAA Division III. Men's sports, football, basketball, baseball, soccer, lacrosse, swimming, track, cross-country, tennis. Women's sports, basketball, soccer, volleyball, field hockey, lacrosse, swimming, track, cross-country, tennis. Total athletic budget is $8.2 million annually, about 8.6% of college budget. Men's sports get $4.8 million, women's get $3.4 million. That's 58% versus 42%. Clear inequality violates Title IX spirit. When I arrived, I immediately identified this as a problem. Did analysis, presented to President Morrison. We have a significant gender funding gap in athletics. Our male athletes receive $1.4 million more than female athletes. She's skeptical immediately. We're Title IX compliant. We've been audited. Compliance is minimum standard. We should strive for actual equity. Show her my proposal, Equity Budget Reallocation Initiative. Shift $1.4 million from men's programs to women's programs. Achieve perfect 50-50th split, model equity for our students. She shakes her head. Athletics brings in donations, mostly from male alumni. Football and basketball alums give millions. We can't touch those programs. This is exactly the problem. Money over equity, tradition over justice. So we're going to perpetuate inequality because of donor preferences. We're going to be fiscally responsible about institutional priorities. She tables my proposal, says we'll revisit it later. That was 18 months ago. We never revisited it. But I never forgot it, kept gathering data, building my case. Meanwhile, I make smaller changes, things within my authority. Increase funding for women's club sports. Add 2 new women's programs. Reduce men's recruiting budgets. Shift those dollars to women's recruitment. Men's coaches start complaining. Football coach especially. Coach Davis, 58, been here 25 years, old school football guy. He comes to my office. Dean, my recruiting budget was cut 30%. We're reallocating resources to programs that need support. My program brings in alumni donors. We're the face of the college. Your program also reinforces toxic masculinity and gender hierarchy. He looks at me like I'm speaking another language. We're just playing football, teaching young men teamwork and discipline. Football culture is inherently problematic. We need to examine that. He leaves frustrated, goes to President Morrison. She calls me in. What's this about cutting football's recruiting budget? I'm making incremental equity improvements within my authority. Football alumni donate $3 million annually. You're poking a bear. If they only donate because we fund football, that's concerning. She's frustrated with me. I'm frustrated with her. Stalemate continues. Then 6 months ago, opportunity presents itself. College is facing budget shortfall for $1 million deficit projected. COVID enrollment dip is still affecting us. Applications are down. President Morrison forms budget committee. I'm on it. Committee meets weekly, looking for cuts, trying to balance budget. Every department is asked to find savings. Nothing is sacred. I see my chance. Athletics is 8.6% of budget, but serves maybe 20% of students. Most students never attend games, never benefit from athletic spending. You are cutting academic programs, increasing class sizes, all to maintain expensive sports programs that primarily benefit men. Prepare presentation for budget committee, 40 slides, comprehensive. Athletics funding and institutional priorities. Show per student cost of athletics versus academics. $12,000 per athlete per year versus $4,000 per regular student per year. Show attendance at games. It's abysmal except for football homecoming. Average basketball game has 150 fans, mostly parents. Baseball games have maybe 50 people watching. But we spend millions maintaining these programs. Present my recommendation. Eliminate low-attendance men's sports. Cut football, baseball, and men's lacrosse. Save $3.2 million. Reallocate $1 million to women's sports. Rest goes to academics. Committee room goes silent. People are shocked. CFO speaks first. Football brings in donations. We can't cut it. Those donations are contingent on maintaining an inequitable system. Do we want to be held hostage by donors who support gender inequality? President Morrison is shaking her head. This is not realistic. We have contractual obligations to coaches, to conference affiliations. I'm prepared for this. Coaches can be reassigned or bought out. Conference affiliations can be adjusted. Other schools have done this. Show examples. 3 small colleges that cut football in past decade. All survived. All shifted resources to academics and other programs. This is our chance to be leaders in equity and fiscal responsibility. Committee takes a vote on whether to explore the proposal. It's 4-3 to study it further. Barely passes. Morrison votes against. But I have permission to develop detailed implementation plan. Spend next month building comprehensive proposal. Timeline for program elimination, staff transitions, facility repurposing, communication strategy, student support services, reallocation plan. It's beautiful, it's thorough, it's revolutionary. Present to full committee, then to President Morrison privately. This is institutional suicide, she says, voice is sharp. 3 programs support 180 male athletes. What about them? They can transfer to other schools or join club sports. What about the coaches? These are people's livelihoods. They get severance. They can find jobs elsewhere. She's getting angry now. Rare for her. What about alumni? Football alumni alone give $3 million annually. You think they'll keep giving? If they only give to perpetuate gender inequality, we don't want their money. She stands up. Meeting over. I'm not bringing this to the board. You don't have the authority to block it. Committee approved exploration. I'm the president. I decide what goes to the board. We're at an impasse. She won't move forward. I won't back down. But then something unexpected happens. Budget crisis gets worse. State funding gets cut. Enrollment drops more. We're at $6 million deficit now. Emergency board meeting is called. Everything is on the table. President Morrison is forced to present all cost-cutting options, including mine, eliminating men's sports programs. Board meeting is contentious. 12 board members, split opinions. Some are alumni, including 2 former football players. Others are business people. They just want budget balanced. I present my case. Focus on fiscal responsibility and equity. We're spending $3.2 million on 3 programs with minimal ROI, while cutting academic programs that serve the entire student body. This is an opportunity to realign our values with our spending. Former football player on board, guy named Tom, speaks up. These programs build character, teach leadership that has value. That value doesn't justify the cost or the gender inequity. Show the numbers again, the per-student costs, the attendance figures. Another board member, woman named Sarah, supports me. I think she's right. We're subsidizing programs that mostly benefit men. while our academic programs that serve everyone are suffering. Debate goes on for 2 hours. It's heated, personal. Finally comes to a vote, 7-5 to approve program eliminations. Football, baseball, men's lacrosse, gone starting next academic year. I feel victorious, finally achieved what I've been fighting for. President Morrison looks sick. She knows what's coming. Announcement goes out the next day, press release, campus email. In response to fiscal challenges and commitment to equity, Westfield College will discontinue 3 men's varsity sports programs. All hell breaks loose immediately. I mean immediately. Campus Facebook group explodes, hundreds of angry comments. Alumni Twitter is on fire. Former players are outraged. This is destroying tradition, killing the soul of the college. Local news picks it up. College cuts football program after 95 years. Get interviewed. I'm prepared. I'm confident. This was a necessary decision for fiscal health and gender equity. We're choosing to invest in academics and equitable athletic opportunities. Interviewer asks, what about the students affected? They have options to transfer or participate in club sports. This is about institutional priorities and values. Interview airs. Response is brutal. I become the villain. Social media is attacking me personally, calling me every name. Feminist dean destroys men's sports to push her agenda. Death threats in my email. Have to report several to campus police. But I stand firm. This is righteous. This is necessary. 2 days after announcement, first donor pulls their giving. Football alum had been giving $50,000 annually, cancels it. Then another $75,000 annual donor cancels. Then another $100,000 donor. This one sends angry letter. I gave to support athletics and tradition, not to fund your ideology. I will not give another cent while you're eliminating programs I care about. President Morrison is getting calls. She's panicking. 1 week after announcement, sitting in her office. We've had 43 donors cancel or pause their giving so far. Total annual impact is $2.7 million. This is catastrophic. I'm unmoved. They'll come back, or we'll find new donors who support our actual values instead of tradition. We don't have time for them to come back. We need money now. She's right. College operates on tight margins. Donations are critical. But I can't back down now, can't show weakness. We made the right decision. We need to weather the storm. 2 weeks after announcement, it gets worse. Major donor, Richard Caldwell, football alum, class of 1978. He's given $200,000 annually for past 15 years, total of $3 million. Also pledged $5 million to new athletic facility construction. He requests meeting with President Morrison and full board. Meeting happens. I'm required to attend. He wants me there. Richard is 64, made his money in real estate, very wealthy. He walks in with his attorney, ominous sign, sits down, doesn't shake anyone's hand, opens a folder. I'm here to formally withdraw all financial support from Westfield College. That includes my annual giving and my $5 million capital pledge. Board members are in shock. $5 million pledge was cornerstone of facility plan. Richard, let's discuss this. We can find a compromise. There's no compromise. You're eliminating the football program. That program gave me my education, my network, my career foundation. And he points at me, eliminated it for her political agenda. I speak up, defended myself. This was a fiscal and equity decision. No, this was an ideological decision wrapped in fiscal language. He pulls out papers. He's done his homework. I've reviewed your published papers. Dean, your dissertation. You've been advocating for eliminating men's sports for 15 years. This wasn't about budget. You used budget crisis as cover. He's not wrong, but I can't admit that. My academic work informed a sound financial decision. You destroyed 95 years of tradition to prove a point about gender. He stands up, meeting over for him. Every football alum I know is pulling their donations. We're organizing. We're done with this college until she's gone. He leaves, his attorney follows. Room is silent. Board member Tom speaks first. He's right. She used the budget crisis. This was always about her ideology, not about money. President Morrison looks at me. Is that true? Have to be honest, I've always believed men's sports are over-resourced. But the budget crisis made this decision fiscally sound. You manipulated the situation to achieve your personal agenda. Feel defensive, attacked. I did what's right for equity. Over the next month, it becomes a full disaster. 87 donors cancel their giving. Total impact $6.2 million annually. That's on top of the $6 million deficit we already had. We're now looking at $12 million shortfall. Richard Caldwell makes good on his threat, organizes alumni. Football Alumni Association formally cuts all ties with college. That's 400-plus alumni who've been consistent donors. Local business community sides with the alumni, reduces partnerships. Applications for next year are down 18%. Students are choosing other schools. Nobody wants to attend a college that's in crisis and eliminating programs. Emergency board meeting 6 weeks after the announcement. Budget situation is now existential. College might not survive. Board is furious. President Morrison is defeated. We have no choice. We have to reverse the decision. We can't reverse it. That makes us look weak. We look weak anyway, and broke. We need the donors back. Vote is 10-2 to reverse the program cuts. Announce that football, baseball, and lacrosse will continue. After further review and community feedback, we're maintaining all athletic programs. It's humiliating, complete reversal, admission of defeat. But it's too late. Damage is done. Trust is destroyed. Richard Caldwell issues statement. Reversal is good but insufficient. We need assurance that ideological decision-making won't happen again. We need leadership change. Dean needs to be removed. Board agrees. They have no choice. Donors have leverage. Called into meeting, President Morrison and board chair. We're terminating your position effective immediately. This is retaliation for trying to implement equity. This is consequence for destroying donor relationships and institutional trust. Offered severance, but it's minimal, 3 months' pay. Escorted off campus that afternoon, 2 years of work erased. News spreads immediately. Dean fired after failed sports elimination. I'm the story. I'm the cautionary tale. I'm the failure. Social media is celebrating. Woke Dean gets what she deserves. Even some progressive voices are critical. This was poorly executed. Only my closest ideological allies support me, but they're not hiring. Spend the next months applying for similar positions. Dean roles, VP of Student Life, director positions at other colleges. Every search committee Googles me, finds the Westfield disaster. One hiring chair is honest in rejection email. Your approach to change management was too aggressive and costly. You didn't build consensus, didn't consider stakeholder impacts. That's not leadership we're looking for. Another says, you became a lightning rod. We can't afford that risk. 6 months unemployed, savings depleting, ego destroyed. Apply for non-leadership roles, associate dean, director of programs. Still too risky. Nobody wants the dean who killed football. Have to leave higher education entirely. That career is over. End up taking program coordinator role at nonprofit, $62,000. Used to make $175,000. Used to have staff. Used to have authority. Now I'm coordinating community workshops and filing reports. Boss is 15 years younger than me. She knows about Westfield. I support your values, but you went about it wrong. Sometimes equity work needs to be incremental. She's not wrong, but hearing it from a 28-year-old stings. 1 year after being fired, see article about Westfield. College recovers after leadership crisis. Richard Caldwell reinstated his $5 million pledge. Athletic facility construction is moving forward. Football team had winning season. Alumni engagement is up. Applications are recovering. Enrollment is stabilizing. New Dean of Student Affairs was hired, man in his 50s. His bio emphasizes collaborative leadership and stakeholder engagement. He's implementing equity initiatives too, but slowly, carefully. Women's sports are getting more funding, but men's aren't losing any. It is finding new money, raising more funds, growing the pie, instead of taking from one to give to another like I did. And it's working. Everyone's happy. Programs are thriving. College is stable and more equitable than when I started. But they achieved it without me, without my approach, without the crisis. Turns out you can make progress without burning everything down. 2 years later, still at the nonprofit, still making $62,000. Got promoted to senior coordinator, still nowhere near dean level. Live in small apartment, can't afford the nice condo anymore. Watch LinkedIn, see my former peers advancing, becoming presidents. I'm the one who flamed out, who pushed too hard, who failed publicly. See article about Richard Caldwell. He donated another $2 million. Endowed scholarship fund for first-generation students, including both male and female athletes, supporting everyone. That's $10 million he's given to Westfield now. All of it came back after I was fired, after my plan was reversed. That $10 million could have paid for a lot of equity programs, could have helped a lot of students, male and female. But it walked away when I killed the programs he cared about, and returned when they brought those programs back. 3 years later, 46 years old, career in education is over. That chapter ended when I tried to eliminate football, when I prioritized my ideology over institutional sustainability, when I used budget crisis as cover to achieve personal agenda. Richard Caldwell was right. That's exactly what I did. Have been waiting for opportunity to cut men's sports. Budget crisis gave me the cover, the justification, the excuse. But I didn't build consensus, didn't consider consequences, didn't think about the students, the coaches, the community. Just focused on my goal, my vision, my version of equity. And it cost me everything, cost the college millions, cost 180 student athletes their programs, at least temporarily, cost coaches their jobs, cost staff their stability, all for a decision that got reversed 6 weeks later. Because I didn't understand that change requires buy-in, that you can't force equity at the expense of relationships, that donors matter, tradition matters, community matters, even when you think your cause is righteous and just. Now I'm here, 46, working at a nonprofit making $62,000. Former dean with a PhD, with 19 years in higher ed, reduced to coordinating programs and filing reports. Because I tried to cut football and lost $10 million. That's my legacy. That's what Google says about me. Dean who tried to eliminate football for equity budget. Lost job after donors pulled $10 million. That's the first thing anyone sees when they search my name. Not my publications, not my dissertation, not my other work. Just the disaster at Westfield, the failed equity initiative. The dean who thought she could beat tradition with ideology, and learned the hard way that tradition has money, and money talks louder than equity, especially when you don't build support for change. When you force it through despite opposition, when you use crisis as cover for personal agenda. That's what I did, and that's why I'm here. 3 years later, career destroyed, reputation ruined, making a third of my former salary, living in small apartment. Watching the college thrive without me, achieve equity without me, do it better than I did, slower but sustainable, because they understood what I didn't. That change without community support doesn't last. That taking from Peter to pay Paul just makes enemies. That tradition and progress can coexist if you're patient. I wasn't patient, I was righteous and certain. And it cost me my career, my reputation, my future. Cost the college millions, cost students their programs. All for a decision that lasted 6 weeks, before being completely reversed. That's my legacy, 6 weeks of failed equity, followed by years of consequences. Still paying for them now at 46. Making $62,000 and coordinating workshops, while Westfield thrives and Richard Caldwell donates millions. And football keeps playing every Saturday. despite my best efforts to kill it. Because I learned too late that you can't force equity without support, can't achieve justice by creating injustice, can't build a better future by destroying tradition. Without bringing people along, without earning buy-in, without understanding that change is a process. Not a declaration, not a decisive moment, but a slow build, a gradual shift. That requires patience I didn't have, and wisdom I couldn't find, until it was too late, and my career was over, and the $10 million was gone, and I was left here, coordinating workshops, and wondering what could have been if I'd been smarter, slower, more strategic, instead of righteous, aggressive, and certain. That's what I think about every day at my nonprofit desk. Former dean turned coordinator, who learned about power by losing all of it, to Richard Caldwell and his $10 million and 95 years of football tradition that I couldn't kill, no matter how hard I tried.